an iconic hub level, one in Red Dead Redemption 2. We are in roads. So Red Dead Redemption is filled with towns and locations that branch off into the bigger world. What we're going to look at is how a level works, pretty much in how we could interpret it into our hub level. So a hub level can be anywhere from a very much enclosed space with doors that open up and then load into a bigger section. Skyrim has many of those, even though now that Skyrim's getting dated, there's loads everywhere, from one door to a basement to outside the castle walls. This is a big open world game with everything accessible.
From here.
You never see
screens caught on the wind. Slept like a baby that night.
You never see a load screen or anything like that when you're traveling through most of the world. You're constantly streaming. So what we're trying to depict here is the basic understanding of how to contain. So this main strip here, contain our hub. This main strip really captures what we're looking for. We have people moving about, having conversations. We have multiple dwellings. We have multiple multi-floor dwellings. Some of these dwellings are very much modular. So you see these two houses at the end here. We'll run over there. Very much the same shape. One is the sheriff office, and one is, if I could read it, the doctor's office, which with that reflective light I could barely read. Very modular. Same shaped house, same porch, same doors. Obviously they went off and textured it differently and put a lot of effort into this, but we don't need to do that. If you make a roof that shape, repeat it all around your town. If you have a porch railing that looks like that, it could be on this porch, it could be on these upper floors and lower floors. So we have the iconic areas here. We have a nice house, we have the sheriff, we have the doctor. At the far end of town we have a train station. Here we have our gunsmith. Again, could be the same general house shape, maybe rotated, put the door on the side and the porch on the side instead of the front. So we can start to see the iconic shapes. So as we move forward here, and the space for Red Dead is spread out quite a bit. They do have little areas that are crunched together and quite small, like this town here. But they're spread out more than we want them to be. We don't need all these gaps. Like there's a big gap here. They populate with awesome foliage and telephone poles. We don't necessarily need all that extra space. We're going to try and contain it. So when we get to this part of town, on our level, we don't necessarily have to have it go all the way out to infinity. We could have the hills rolling out. We could see the church on the hill, and the hills roll all the way out, and that road curl over the hills. Maybe that train station's on top of the hill. And before we get there, there's a gate and maybe a posse or someone saying, "You don't have permission to go on out there into the open wilds." Something like that. Oh, look at that sky. This is one of the prettier games you could play. If you haven't played it, you should at least watch it. The story is unbelievable. The environmental art is unbelievable. And the world building is unbelievable. That's another thought here, is creating a hub level. How do you create, in a very large environment like the world of Red Dead or other big giant open world RPGs, how do you populate them as a level designer? You're going to have a lot of props, a lot of tools to use. We're not going to just build it in Maya, one building at a time, and slowly grow it. They're going to have big level editors that could be populated, and we'll have to place all these items. You know, this cart, the art team will populate it with grass and other things, but we're going to have to place items all over the place. The level design team. Here we have this little back road back here, this little shed, hanging laundry. And I ran right into a tree.
There's two. Scallowag, is that right? Because I'm working for my family.
You ain't working for your family. You're working for a carpetbagger.
They're gonna start shooting. So we need to try and contain our level. So even if we're gonna allow the player to get back here, has to look good. It can't have just a big old wall here. And look, it's like, oh, that wall's just rocks. That doesn't work. Or a giant fence. It's like, why would a fence be that big? We're not in a castle or a fort. So we have to populate this and make it feel naturally go off into the distance.
It beats playing toy soldiers.
The Raiders ain't no toy soldier.
Get away from these conversations.
No, you're right. It's a whole lot sadder than that.
Cat?
You know, I guess for me to cop you
It's a
that
cool looking cat.
I'm an idiot.
Sorry. Enough. Not nearly enough.
Hold it up.
It's a good, there's a good visual for us. Gray Woolen Mill. Don't let the player go out here. We could get to this point, have gates up, and you could see the mill out there. You don't have to animate the donkeys turning the mill. That's a great extra point for the spoke. Where does the spoke levels branch off? This main road right through town is great. Central corridor. Alright, so let's check out Sheriff's Office, Hotel, Everyday Housing, Gunsmith. So these are things we want to think about in our hub. What would be in here? What would populate it? What kind of people would be talking, having conversations? Let's go listen to this gentleman.
Want to buy a paper? Make sure you come back tomorrow.
Deep conversation there. So those are the little things we want to populate our hub level with. People hanging around, looking alive. Feeling like this is a central spot to branch off. It's the mill. Out there to the hills. Where does this road lead to? Up to the church and graveyard. That could be another spoke area that we don't actually get access to, but we have to build out to feel like the world continues on. So this is Rhodes in Red Dead Redemption 2. If you haven't played it, you should at least watch videos. It's a brilliant game that has everything and more. It's a little violent. They preach a lot of good characters in peace, yet they don't really let you do that in this game. You always have to shoot and everything, so if that's not your thing, it's probably not the game to play. Alright. That'll do it for Rhodes and Red Dead Redemption 2. Thanks for watching.